Hey, I know that I have this mean look about me, but I'm actually a really nice guy.
Hey, welcome to today's video. In this video, let's just create a little funny animation experiment between ZBrush and Maya. We can use ZBrush to create kind of a simple clay looking character and then bring it into Maya and see if we can animate it and take a look at what is the, like a fun process to do so. So to get started, I'm gonna be just using this Dynamesh 128. And to create a simple clay character here in ZBrush, let's just use our sculpting tools and just make something super fast. So I'm gonna, let me just use the gravity to kind of do something like this. And I can also, of course, grab my move. Let me turn my active symmetry on. Maybe I can just sculpt it into something a little more unique. Let's say I have something like this. So this is gonna be his body, that's fine. If I wanted to create a couple arms, let me grab my snake hook and let me just literally pull out a couple. I can, of course, turn Sculptures Pro on. Let me just pull out a couple arms. It's going to be a very simple little guy. So I want to make sure they kind of stay, somewhat chubby. I'm trying to figure out what kind of feet I want. For the feet, I think I am going to let me think about this. I think I'm just gonna actually insert, let me go to subtools, let me insert another sphere. And for the feet, I just literally just wanna do something super simple where I just put it underneath, right? And I want half of this. So I'm gonna go into perspective view, jump out of the perspective view, do Control Shift, go into my quick picks. Let me just grab this knife rectangular. I just want to cut half of these off. Really cool. Now these are going to be my feet. I'm just going to make them maybe a little bit larger. So I have a couple, just couple feet just like this, just super cartoony, stylized look, right? So something like this is great. To get it on the, I'll just put it to the side. To get it on the other side, I can do mirror, weld. Now I have two. All right. And now I have something like this. That's really nice. And now I just need a, I'm thinking these are probably a little bit too short. I'm gonna actually grab my inflate and let me just inflate these a little more. Just, I feel like they need to be something, something more than just a little stubs. Maybe I can pull this down. Yeah, so it's even something like this is what I was thinking of, right? So like almost like a penguin or something. I'm gonna grab this move, pull this here, all right? Just maybe so it feels a little more stable. All right, now that's gonna be my body. That's all I want. I'm gonna clean this up in a minute, but let me actually also do a simple little head. For the head, let me think about this. I'm just gonna probably, let's just use this as the head. So I'm gonna grab my inflate. I can jump out of the Sculptures Pro mode. And holding down the Alt key, I'm just going to give myself a couple eyes, right? Press 1 a couple times to push them in. Let's do Control and drag to Dynamesh. Do a little bit of a polish. Now these are going to be my eyes. If I wanted to do a mouth, I'm just going to literally just press Alt and just do something like this. That's going to be pretty much it for my character design. All right, that's perfect, and that's going to be super simple, as you can see. All right, maybe we can give him a couple of hairs. I'm gonna do, let's do another snake hook and just, I don't know, pull out. I'm gonna turn off symmetry. Let me just give him a couple things sticking out, right? Just something a little more exciting, right? So I have this. This is great. I don't really need to do anything more than that for my test. And now I do wanna give him maybe a couple of teeth. So for that, I'm just gonna insert a box. Grab my box, make it super small. Let's go ahead and make it thinner and shorter. And now all I need to do is just bend it, right? Let me bend that now. I'm gonna go to settings, do a bend curve. Let me add another row of these. And initially, all I want to do is just do something like this. That's gonna be pretty much it for his teeth. So that's great. I'm gonna go to, let's do accept. And let's just go ahead and put it into position, right? His teeth are going to be right here. I can make them a little bit longer if I wanted to. All right, I have these perfect teeth. I think that's great. To get one on the bottom, I can of course duplicate it, and let me mirror it, but I'm going to just mirror it on Y, right? I'll just simply press mirror. Nice. I actually need a couple eyes. Let me insert another sphere, and let's go ahead and turn it into Dynamesh. Grab our scale. Let's go ahead and scale them into position, put them right here. All right, let me do a mirror and weld. Now I have two of them. Let me select the body, and maybe I can just adjust this a little more so it fits the eyes a little bit better, right? All right, excellent. Now I have something like this. Now since the modeling aspect of it is done, let's make sure that we have the geometry that supports animation, right? So before we bring it into Maya, if you look at the current topology, this is not going to work. It's a little bit too dense. So of course, let's just use our zRemesher to help us out. I'm gonna go to zRemesher. Let me set this to 1. I'll turn adapt. I can leave adapt on, turn the symmetry off because my hair breaks the symmetry, right? So I don't want symmetry. And I'm just gonna do zRemesh real quick. All right, this is what I get. If I turn my polyframe on, I can see that ZBrush is attempting to give me loops around the mouth, which is gonna be important for animation. And I also see that it's trying to give me loops around the eyes, but not well, right? You can see that this loop right here is actually not even closed. So as far as the retopology goes for this, it's actually not working. And what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna undo this, and I'm gonna use polygroups to guide this. So I'm gonna solo this. I'm gonna press active symmetry on, holding down the control key. I'm gonna create a mask, something like this, of polygroups. I'm gonna do Control W, right? Do the same thing here. I'm gonna press Control and just kind of mask out this whole section right here. Just create a loop. All right, do Control W. Really nice. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing for the arms too. I wanna make sure if we decide to move these in Maya, we wanna make sure that there's actually a loop going all the way around for bending, right? Obviously. So let's go ahead and go around and make sure that this is indeed going to be a loop, which is great. Let's do Control W. Now we have all these loops, right? Let me try zRemesh again. This time I am going to leave active symmetry on because I think for eyes we do want the symmetry on, and I can just fix the hair if I wanted to. And let's make sure that we say keep groups and do zRemesh. All right, so now we have something much better. Look how cleaner this topology is for animation, right? Than what we had before. You have all these beautiful loops closing all the way around, and you have nice loops for the shoulders, you have nice loops for the mouth and the eyes, right? Anything that's going to be closing or moving is perfect. And I know the symmetry created a couple more hairs, and you know what? I actually don't mind it. I think it's great. So let's say that this is perfect. I actually don't even need to go lower than this. I think this is gonna work. I'm gonna leave this alone. Let's move on to the next one. This one here definitely needs to be retopologized as well. So let me go to again zRemesher. I'll just do 0.5 super low. Turn adapt off. Detect edges is on. Active symmetry. Just do zRemesh. And that's way too dense, so I need to dial this down a lot. All right, this right here I think is great. I have about 100 points. I love it. I'm gonna go to the next one and do exactly the same thing. I'm gonna go to geometry, go to zRemesher, do the same thing. Let's just do it I'll go to 0.2, even lower. Turn adapt off, detect edges, active symmetry is on, and just do zRemesh. All right, let me do half. And just keep cleaning this up more and more. So same, about 100 points, right? So about the same as the other one. That's great. Let's go take a look at the eyes. All right, for the eyes, let me jump out of the polyframe, and I'm gonna dial this back down the history tab. until I go back to one eye. So I just want to do one eye, and then I'll just make a copy of it, right? So let me go to Z remesher. Let's do something super low, like 0.2. And I don't need symmetry on. Let me just do Z remesh. All right, that's going to give me a really simple sphere, right? Only 172 points. I think that's perfect. Let me go ahead and I'll just duplicate it and flip it over to the other side. And if I jump out of the solo mode, you can see I have these clean eyes. The last item is going to be the feet, and the feet, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to geometry. Let's go to Z remesher. I'm going to switch it to, like, again, 0.5, super low, turn adapt off, active symmetry is on, and I'm just going to do Z remesh. All right, that's going to give me this. And it's about 672 points, which is great. So now very quickly I created a low poly version of this character. If I wanted to create textures for him, of course I can do I can go to Z plugin and do UV master, right? I can just do a quick unwrap. I don't really need to. I think for this experiment I don't really care about textures. I'm more interested in just playing around with animation. So the next thing I would like to do is I want to take him out of ZBrush and export him out into Maya, right? So to do that, definitely save your tool if you're following me along. And to export him out, I'm just going to go to export. Let me switch this to FBX. This way I can do multiple layers, right? And I'll just call this, I'll just call it little guy. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to say save. In here, I want to make sure that I'm going to say all layers, right? So I want all the layers, not just visible. And I am going to leave everything alone and just say OK. All right, once it's done exporting, let's jump into Maya. Here I am in Maya. I'm going to go to File and Import. Navigate to my FBX, select it, and let's just do Import. All right, here he is. He comes in with all of his layers, and everything is perfect. I'm going to select him. Let's go ahead and press spacebar. And right now you can see he's in the center, but we want him on the floor. So I'm going to grab my move, make sure I switch my X orientation to world, because I want to move all the pieces together and just kind of move him up, right? So let's move him up. Let's hover over this, press spacebar, press F on our keyboard, and now we can just take a closer look. I can also turn the wireframe on, so I can kind of inspect the topology and make sure that it's, you know, clean and everything looks nice, and I think it does. All right, the next step is going to be, let's just assign some fun materials to this really quick. And if we wanted to, we could name these. Before we do, I'm trying to figure out which pieces I want to combine and which ones maybe I don't, right? Maybe we can combine, let's just combine the teeth and the body together. So I'm going to go to poly modeling and let's just do a combine, clear our history, and let's just call this body, right? That's fine. For these, this is just going to be his feet. I'm going to keep those separate. And I think I'm going to probably combine both of these eyes as well. So let me combine those. Again, clear my history and just call these eyes. So now we just have three simple objects to deal with, right? Very nice. Right now this is untitled, so I am going to press Control S. Nice. So now let's say I want to assign some colors to this, right? To do that, let's just, I guess, jump out of the wireframe. Let's select this, right click, and go to assign new material. So I'm going to say new material. I don't really care to set up a Arnold. Just for anyone who's new, the difference between Arnold shader and a normal Maya material is pretty much the fact that the Arnold is more for, like, you know, beauty shots or like featured film. Think of like Pixar quality renders. And it's, you know, it takes longer to render, but it looks beautiful. And if you're just experimenting or if you're exporting stuff into game engines, you can't use Arnold materials. You have to use the Maya materials. So for this experiment, just for the sake of speed, I'm just going to go to Maya, right, not Arnold. And let's just do something super simple like the basic foam material. And I just assign that to the body. Now, if you could, if you start dragging it, you can see I can control the color of the body, right? Maybe I want to drag this all the way up, and let's just choose a color. for this guy. Maybe I can go for, you know, kind of like a blue color is fine. If I want to change the specularity, I can just do, I'm on the attribute editor, but I can, of course, control that pretty easy here. Let me just dial this down a little, just so there's a little bit something. All right, so that looks cool. If I wanted to assign that same material to his feet, let's first name it. Let's just call it blue underscore mat for material. I'm going to select this, right click, and do existing. And now I could see that it's right here, right? Blue material. Really nice. Let's go ahead and assign the eye material, which is going to be white. I'm going to right click, go to assign new material, and for this one, I'm gonna go to the Maya materials, do a phone, and let's just keep this nice and white, right? It's gonna be super simple. And if I wanted to, I can right click, go to faces, double click on the teeth, hold on the shift key, double click on the bottom row of those teeth, right click, go to existing material, and let me just assign that phone to, which is going to be the white material, right? And if I right click and go to material attributes, I can maybe name it teeth, or let me just call it white underscore material, just so I know what's what. All right, sweet. So now we have this cool looking character, and he has you know, teeth and the eyes. Now for the eyes, you know, we can decide if we want to give him some pupils. That's totally up to you if you want it or not. I think for this, I'm just going to leave it white just for the sake of simplicity. Of course, we can, you know, add another sphere for a pupil, but I think this is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually maybe let's color the inside of his mouth here as well. I'm going to select, let me go to faces, double click on this, and I can do isolate, right? Select this point here, hold down the shift key and click on the period button to grow my selection. And that's going to select the inside part of the mouth, okay? All right, and now to, let's select the rest of it holding down the shift key. I can just select these points manually, or I can select a couple, come over here and just double click. That's gonna select the whole loop. All right, let's say I want inside the mouth to be a different color. So I can right click, go to assign new material, and this time I'll do another foam material, but maybe let's just make it black. And maybe I don't want it to be shiny, right? Just so it looks like the void. I'm gonna right click, go to object mode. Now I have this. And let me jump out of solo. All right, now I have something like this. I think that looks really cool. I actually wouldn't mind the black to be also part of the eyes here too. So let me do this again. I'm gonna actually select this, go to solo, right click, go to face. I'm gonna select this one here. All right, and now with the active symmetry on, I can maybe go here and just double click and select all of those inside. Hold down shift and period to grow my selection, maybe a couple times. And let me just see how that's going to work. It's going to give me a really interesting selection, which I kind of like. I think this is cool. Let me right click on this, go to existing. Let's do Fong 3. That was our black one. And of course I can name these. If I right click and go to material attribute, maybe I can actually call this black so I could know next time. And this looks really cool. Check this out. If I can jump out of the solo, I have this really cool character. I don't like that this is so sharp, right? How do I fix that? Well, I can select my mesh, go to sculpting. Let me grab my grab tool, and I can literally sculpt this, right? Like you can see, if you hold on the B key and start dragging, you can change the size of the brush, right? Something like that. And the color went away, so I can see where the color is. So let me actually jump out and take a look. So this point right here is what I want. I can even just select this point and go back into sculpting. And now I know it's this one. So I can just start moving this up, right? And just maybe round this up a little more, right? Something like that. Let's jump out, back out, take a look. I like this, right? This is a little bit better. This still feels a little too sharp for me. So I'm gonna go to verts. Let me select this point, grab my move, and maybe I can just manually adjust a couple of these points, right? I just wanna make sure that this is nice and soft. All right. And now I have this character. I like it a lot. I don't know if the feet make sense looking like this. I almost feel like they should be black also. Let's just assign a black material. Yeah, there you go. I think that's a little bit better. Now, if I'm looking at this black material, it looks way too dark. Let me go back to material attributes and let's just pump up a little specularity. And I think that's going to be a little bit better. Maybe we can also, instead of using pure black, I can go to like bluish black. So something like this, I think maybe a little bit better. You see it's like a little bluish tint to it. Okay, kind of like that. So that is awesome. Really liking this. Let's go ahead and save it. I'm going to Control S. Cool. Now the fun part, how do we animate him saying something or speaking? And to do that, what I could do, by the way, we can also drop some lights in, but maybe we could do that at the end. But right now the default lights are selected. If I turn the lights on in Maya port, you can see there's actually no lights, right? So if you wanted to see some, you need to go to Create, go to Lights, and just drop a directional light, for example. And you can move it around and of course adjust it. A lot of times I'll press R and make it larger too, so I could see it a little bit better. So I can do one light this way. I can do Control D, take the second light and just do like a backlight like this, where there's like a rim light. And then I can go to my attribute editor. Let's go to directional light shape node and take the intensity and just pump this up, right? And now what we could do is, check this out, we can create like this cartoon shader effect where it looks like there's light in the back, right? And that looks pretty awesome in my opinion. You can also change the color of this, you know, and create different moods. Maybe there's something like a pink light on the back, which looks kind of neat as well. You know, whatever is part of your story. I like this a lot. I'm actually gonna go with this. If I wanted to stop looking at the lights, I can hide them. I can go to Show, Viewport, and just turn the lights off, right? Could do that. Let's do Control S. All right, keep in mind, we can also select everything and we can press 3 to give us a smooth preview, right? Which is gonna give us a really clean, smooth shader, right? And this is great for animation. A lot of times for animation, what you wanna do is you'll stay in one, you know, like a blocky mode for, you know, this only has 4,000 faces, right? So it's very light, very easy to animate. There's not much going on right in here. But then when you render it out, you when you're done animating, you can press 3, right? And that will give you this nice smooth preview for rendering, right? So keep that in mind, a cool little trick for anyone who is new, and you can see how everything just looks really nice, right? I'm gonna press, let's go ahead and jump out, press 1. All right, so how do we do the animation? Now, the animation could be done 2 different ways. You can create joins, right, and animate it that way. Or you can use Blendshapes. So in this experiment, I thought it would be fun to take a look at how do Blendshapes work? What does that mean? So let's do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a blend shape for this guy and maybe get his mouth moving, right? So I'm gonna select the body shape, and that's gonna include the teeth as well, right? And now what I'm gonna do is go into, let's go into animation, Windows, let's go to animation editors, and let's pull up something called shape editor, right? That's gonna give us this window. I'm gonna say create blend shapes. That's gonna create a blend shape group, and now I can add a target. I'm gonna say add target, and now what I have is a, you see automatically it's gonna go into edit mode, which means I have 2 points. This is the starting point of this blend shape, and this is gonna be the end point. So now if I wanted to create a change in his mouth, for example, right? Or let's do blinking first. Let's do blinking eyes, and we can call it blinking. Let's say I want this character to blink. So this is going to be not blinked, and this is going to be blinked. Okay. So now to create the blinking effect, I obviously have to displace the geometry to make it look like he's blinking. So to do that, I can, of course, you know, let's just grab something like the move. Let's grab, you know, a couple of these faces. Let's grab this one. and maybe this one, right? I can press B to make my selection soft. Hold down the B and then control the fall off of the faces. So I'm gonna definitely go to something like this where it's not affecting the top layer. And then just grab these and start moving them up. And it's not working well at all. So what I could do is maybe, let me maybe expand this a little more. Grab these from the side, maybe just do something like that. Maybe that's a little bit better, right? So that's going to be great. So it's going to be the bottom portion of his face. I can manually adjust some of these because I really want to make sure they stay round. So as he blinks, I want all of this part to keep its form or its shape, right? So I'll do something like that. Maybe I can bring this one down. I can jump out of the soft select by pressing B, and now I can individually adjust some of these points if I wanted to, right? So check this out. Now I have something like this. Okay, so it's nice and clean, right? If I wanted to preview that, I can go to here and just start dragging this. So now I have this starting point, and then this is the second point, right? So obviously if I do this, I also would like, if I'm doing blinking, I also need to close the top. Let's do that as well. Right click, go to face, let's select these points here, and let's just start dragging them down. I'm gonna press B to activate my soft select and just literally do something like this, right? Close that whole brow. Let me grab this point here and just move this down. Okay, I think that's great. And now I'm gonna jump out of the soft select and just manually make this work a little bit better, right? I want to make sure you can't see that eye in there, so I could still see it. So I'm gonna move these and kind of close it up. Now I can do it this way, or you can also select this, go to sculpting tools, and in here you have something, for example, like the bulge tool, right? The bulge tool should work. I can select it, make sure my symmetry is on, go to Object X, and you have symmetry here as well. But now I can bulge these and just close them a little tighter, right? So it really feels like the eye is closing. Holding down the Shift key, I can smooth this, just like in ZBrush. I can smooth these points and make them a little bit softer with better flow of topology, right? You don't have anything broken or weird. I could still see his eye a little bit right there, so maybe I can bulge this up, maybe bulge this up, right? Smooth it and just make sure they are closed. Let me jump out of this and take a look. All right, now you can see that nothing is peeking through and looks really good. If I select it and press 3, I can actually see how it's gonna look when it's smooth, right? So now we have, this is pretty much it. Now, you know, obviously you can't rush through this. It takes time to create a nice animation, but that's pretty much it for blinking eyes. All right, let's do the same thing with the mouth. Maybe we can close the mouth and open it, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this on open. Let's add another target to this shape, right? I'm gonna do another target, and this one maybe could be, let's just call it mouth closed, right? We can expand this a little more. And now to close the mouth, again, keep an eye on this, right? This is in edit mode, so this layer right here is activated, which means I can now close this and move this around the same way we did with the eyes, right? I can come here. Let me select, for example, let's select these faces and maybe these faces. Press B, hold down the B, activate the fall off to be a little more inclusive, right? Press W, and I'm just gonna move this up. And I can do something like that. Now I can manually sculpt these a little better. If I want, holding down the B key, I can control the fall off. But essentially it's just sculpting and moving things around, right? Let's just maybe close this like this, poking out. And now check this out. If I move this, you can see it's actually gonna close. I think if this does happen, this part up here should probably move a little bit as well, so it doesn't look so dead. I'm gonna select these here. Let me select the teeth as well. And let's just move this down a little bit. So it's kind of a trial and error, right? So I think that's cool. Just adds a little more, you know, movement to the bottom of his teeth and the mouth. So now we can blink the character. We can control the mouth of the character, And you know, what else can we do? We could for the arms, if we want to create like an actual animation sequence, we could probably add a couple joints and move them that way. Or you can even move them using the blend shapes as well. Maybe, you know, if he's like waving or something, we can add a target just for his, let's just do his right arm only, right arm. Once again, check it out, it jumped out of edit mode for this layer and created another target for us. So now if I wanted to position this as a wave, right? Let me do that. I'm gonna select, let's select a bunch of these points. I'm gonna press it, hold on the shift key, double click, hold on the shift and click period to grow my selection. And you know what? I'm gonna jump out of the symmetry because I don't want this to be symmetrical, right? And let's just do something like this. I just want one side. Now, by the way, period will grow your selection and comma will shrink it. So I want to go about halfway here. And let's say I want him to do a wave, right? I'm going to click on the rotate and just literally just rotate this like this. Press W. Move this over here, right? He's an alien, so there's really no rules with this, but maybe I can do something like that. And he's just kind of, he's going to give us a wave. Now, if I did this and this right here looks super weird to me, I can go into object mode, select this, and just like in ZBrush, I can smooth this out, right? I can go to grab something like the smooth brush, hold on the B key, make this a little bit larger. You have the size and the strength right here in the tool settings as well, but we can just smooth this out and create a much better bend for that arm when it comes up. So all of this, everything we're doing right now is going to be part of the blend shape on this, you know, at this slider, right? So any movement that I do with these points are all being animated, right? So that's cool. Check this out. This arm looks much better, right? Let's do that. And now if I wanted to control the arm, right? Now I have this. Now I like the up and I like the down. I don't like the middle. So what I could do is I can go halfway, go to create, and add something called add in between target. Now, if I do that, it's going to give me a red point here telling me that there's an in between point, and the in between point is going to be this. So I'm not happy with how this is looking. So I'm going to go into in between state, grab my smooth. Let me make it a lot stronger. Maybe make my brush a little bit larger, and I can smooth this out, right? Maybe I can smooth this, and I can also grab my move, maybe move this around a little, and just kind of manually control the in-between state during the blend shapes of two targets, right? So I have something like this, right? So now I have this, holding on the shift key, I can smooth this a little more. Maybe this looks a little bit better. Let me turn the edit off. And now if I move this, you could see I have the down one, then I have the in-between, the one that I just made, and then the top one. So that's going to look a little bit better than what I had before, right? Now we can do something like this, and then we can add another target for, you know, him moving the hand back and forth. Let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and select the blend shape, add another target, and this time I'm going to call this wave. And this is going to be a right arm waver. So right arm wave, right? I just want to move this up, right? So to move this up, let me go into my points, select my faces, hold on the shift key, select all of this, press shift and period to grow my selection, right? Grab my rotate, and I just want to rotate this in more, right? Press W and just move this up. So that's going to be his wave. I'm going to press E, maybe rotate this a little more, and that's going to be perfect, right? Check this out. Now I can do a little wave. How cool is that? So now we have the wave, and then when he's done waving, we can go back to point 0, and then we can lower his arm, and we can close his mouth, and we can blink, and we can also blink his eyes. So we just added all of these controllers, which can now be animated and you know, and used for, you know, for a little short or something like that. All right, cool. So the next question becomes, if you wanted to animate this, right? We have all this manual shape editor controller, but how do I animate it? What if I wanted to actually turn this into something where maybe he says something and I want him to say, you know, hey guys, I love 3D, you know, something, right? What if I wanted to actually animate these, or maybe I want to have him blink? How do you do that? Well, it's super simple. Now, since everything is set up, we colored him, we hooked him up with Blendshapes. Now it's definitely save your project, by the way, if you're following me. But now to do the animation, you can set keys, right? You have all these keys. Let me jump out of the edit mode. I'm done setting up the deformation. And now what I could do is, let me, for example, let's do a blinking animation. And I'm at 30 frames per second. I think that's probably too crazy. Let's do 24. That's usually what you want to do for like film or shorts. 30 is usually for games. 30 and 60 is for games. 24 is good for shorts. So I'm going to go to keyframe 0. And I'm going to switch the eyes to 0 and set a key, right? Now this turned red, indicating that now this blend shape is keyed, which means I can go to frame 24 and let's set another key. All right, now the eyes are open on keyframe 1 and keyframe 24, and now I can go to keyframe 12 and set another key, and this time I'm going to close them. All right, now if I press play, you will see him opening and closing his eyes automatically. He's blinking, right? Now that's really awesome. And that's how easy it is to create animations, and then you just have to sync them up to, you know, to sound or something like that. But let's say I want him blinking twice. If I wanted to modify the animation, it's very difficult for me because I can't see the actual keys. If you want to see the keys in the timeline, what you need to do is you need to select the body, go into channel box, and in here under inputs, you actually have the blend shape node. If you select it, you can see that the keys just appeared. So now I could see there's a key on 0, 12, and 24, right? And now I can actually manipulate them, move them, whatever, right? I can select this one, press shift, select this, and I can actually move the keys where he's gonna blink a lot faster, right? I could do that. Let's say I want him to keep the eyes closed a little bit longer. I can copy it. Let me copy it. Put it to like, let's go to 11, do a paste. Now, you see what I'm doing? I'm actually manipulating the animation and the timing of it. So now if I press play, you can see that maybe that's a little bit better. Maybe I want him opening the eyes a lot sooner. I can go here. Let me copy the open one, go to 4 and do a paste. So now he's gonna stay open a little bit longer, then close him. And then I wanna open him right away. So I'm gonna go here and do a little paste, and now it's open and it's going to stay open. So check it out. Now the timing has changed and now it's a lot more interesting, right? I think that's awesome. And then, by the way, that's how you could also animate the body, right? Maybe he needs to be breathing during this. If I want to add some breathing to his body, I can set up a new target, right? I can select this, go to my blend shapes, and let's say I want him breathing the entire time. I'm going to add another target, and I'll say, you know, let's just call it breathing. All right, and now what we could do is let's just take our verts, maybe select all the points, you know, here, right? If I press B, I can, remember, I can control the fall off, right? Maybe just do a little bit of a fall off. I'm going to leave the belly kind of stationed on the bottom, press W. And now I can take all of these points up here and just move them up. And when I'm doing that, that's actually is a problem because it's not grabbing the eyes, right? And maybe I just need to do it just a little bit. I don't want to do too much. So let me actually go down. I'm going to go down a little bit. I want to make sure that I do it in such a way where I don't break the eyes. We haven't animated the eyes yet. So now there's just a little bit of a movement. Maybe even that is too much, honestly. I just want very little, just like breathing. All right, even that is too much. All right, there you go. So this is good, right there. So now what I could do is let me jump out of edit mode, go back into object mode. All right, now I can select this, go back to my blend shape node. And if I want to, I can create the animation of him breathing. So same thing, I'm gonna go to frame 0 and I'm gonna set a key, go to frame 24, set a key, go to frame 12 in the middle, okay? I'm gonna set a key there and I'm gonna bring this down. So now I just changed the position of that, right? So now if I press play, he should be blinking and breathing. So check it out. Now, of course, this looks kind of crazy because his eyes are not yet animated, but we can animate those as well. If I wanted to animate them directly, I can click on the eyes, go to frame 0, press S. I can do it. I don't need to set up blend shapes for these because these are separate objects, right? So because he's just standing still and we're just kind of having fun, I can just animate the eyes directly. So to do that, I'm going to press S to set a key, go to 24, press S, set a key, and then right here on 12, I can also press S, but as you can see, the character is moving up, right? So I'm going to take these eyes and also move them up, right? And now you can see the eyes are going to be moving with the character, right? So many different ways to animate. You can set up blend shapes for the eyes. You can set up joints for the eyes if you want it to be part of the character. Or if it's something super simple and he's stationary, you can literally just straight up animate the actual mesh moving up and down. And that's what this is, right? It's just kind of moving up and down. So lots of ways to do it. All right, so you get the idea. This is pretty much it. This is how you do it. You can also do the same thing with the mouth and do the wave. And then you can sync it with audio and have a fun little experiment. So I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you can create some cool little animations. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to know if you're able to follow this and maybe created your own experiment. If you did, please post it in Discord. It would be so fun to see what you are doing. But either way, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.